We all love a good story, but not many of us would reach out to the dusty dictionary in our bookshelves for our next thrilling read. Besides gathering dust in the age of Googles and ChatGPTs, dictionaries have another function. They tell a tale as old as time. The humble dictionary is the story of language and how we agree that all sounds we make correspond to the ideas we have. But where did it all start? And how does one go about making a dictionary? For that, we need to travel to 16th century England.
We shouldn't underestimate the increase in English language literacy as early as the 16th century, particularly once the Protestant Reformation has taken place in England. The first monolingual English dictionary is produced by a former clergyman. He's been sacked for extreme religious opinions and finds himself saying, how can I preach the gospel now that I've been sacked? One answer is by making a little dictionary to help pious people understand some of the difficult words that they come across in their pious reading.
The invention of the printing press sped things up. As demand for books and dictionaries surged, publishers seized on the opportunity.
Publishing is a large part of lexicography, and as it becomes apparent to publishers that dictionaries are profitable, so more and more dictionaries come to be printed, which means that their price tends to be driven down, so more and more people have dictionary access.
As English became a global language, its variations and regionalisms became more distinct. Now, besides telling people how a certain word was spelled or meant, a dictionary started to become a tool to document these changes.
I think that's where one perhaps sees this more than in dictionaries of British English is in Noah Webster's American Dictionary of the English Language of 1828. And I think that that's because Webster sees that American English isn't the same as British English, and feels that a dictionary should make that explicit as a matter of patriotic recognition of change.
A great example here is the Oxford English Dictionary. Its first edition took about 50 years to publish in full, a process that started with an appeal to people to submit suggestions, involving them in the gigantic task ahead and letting them become a part of a national story.
So OED is part of a wider movement in the 19th century, particularly in Europe, to start to address this need for historical records of languages. And OED emerged from this idea that there was something wrong with English dictionaries for academic purposes, and that the Philological Society could address that by starting to put together a new dictionary. People were invited to send in slips of paper which had quotations on with a citation and the text. And these were what formed the basis of the dictionary. Even before any of the sort of mini volumes, the fascicles as we called them, appeared, people were getting involved in the dictionary, partly because that philological urge in the 19th century is sort of bound up with nation-making and national identity.
Fast forward to the 21st century, and while slips of paper with suggestions from people are still a primary source for Oxford, the age of social media changed everything.
The thing that social media has done for us in OED, we've included quite a lot of quotes from Twitter and also moving towards other social media sources because they can give some really good examples of naturalistic use of everyday words. That kind of thing is good, but it also allows us to tune into minority use quite a lot, whether that's particular groups or quite often regions.
If you think that's all she wrote for the story dictionaries are telling, hold your horses. On the flip side of all of this is how dictionaries have told the story of slang through the years, how it emerged as a code on the street and grew to become an integral part of the language.
And that starts off around 1000 Christian era. It is the roots of slang. It's a world that is not mainstream, it is not orthodox, it happens to be seditious, but actually what it is criminal. But around the 15th century and onwards, for about 200 years, you're getting what are called beggar books, and you're getting them in the UK, in France, in what would become Italy, Spain, and it's all these little glossaries which are putting together what will eventually be amalgamated into bigger dictionaries, which start in the 17th century.
So there it is. Next time you see that dictionary tucked away on a shelf, you know it's not just a dust magnet, but a testament to the long and elaborate story of language, spanning both centuries and geographies.